Welcome. Join me in today's balance practice. Let's start from the ground up, finding your mat, maybe standing with your feet hip-width apart. If you want, you could sway forward and back, so maybe bringing your weight into your heels, into the balls of your feet, so maybe shifting your weight forward and back. Noticing perhaps weight in the balls of your feet as you sway forward, weight in your heels as you sway back. As you do so, feel free to sigh out a few breaths. Maybe you'd like to make bigger movements, meaning maybe lifting your heels as you sway forward, maybe lifting your toes as you sway back. And if you want, you could try staying lifted on the balls of your feet. So lifting your heels, maybe staying for a beat or two, exhaling your heels down. Maybe trying another round of lifting your heels and staying, maybe steadying your gaze, fixing a point on the wall or the floor to help you balance. For another count of 3 and 2 and 1. Coming back to feeling both feet on the floor, both heels, the balls of your feet. You can splay your toes apart, so maybe noticing your feet and the touch of your feet on the floor. Then we could try swaying side to side. So maybe leaning into your right hip and then your left hip, swaying from side to side, maybe noticing any sensation in your outer hip as you lean into one side and then the other. Coming back to center when you're ready. And then we could bring our weight onto our left foot, placing our right big toe on the floor. And here, maybe trying to stand tall. So instead of leaning into your hip as we just did, maybe noticing that you can engage or that there's some engagement in your left leg to support perhaps even lifting your right big toe off the floor. So finding some effort in that supporting leg. And we could leave our right big toe on the floor for a moment as we draw circles with our heel. So maybe inviting some rotation in your ankle joint, maybe changing sides, maybe leaning into your big toe or all of your toes. You can flare your toes apart. You can rock onto your big toe to your baby toe, eventually lowering that heel. And then coming back to center with your feet hip-width apart. Notice if there's any difference in sensation or feeling between both legs. And then other side. If you want to start by leaving your left big toe on the floor, maybe resting on the knuckle of your left big toe or the toe itself if you're pointing your foot, your choice. And then instead of leaning into your right hip, maybe standing tall, engaging your inner thigh. Maybe you're feeling some effort in your quads, so your upper leg. Maybe you're feeling weight in your right foot. And then we could draw circles with our left heel. And maybe changing direction. So experimenting with drawing circles with your left heel, noticing your ankle perhaps. You could also lift your heel and press into your left big toe knuckle. Maybe flaring your toes, and you can rock your foot from side to side with your heel lifted. Maybe feeling some sensation in your toes. Maybe a lean into the knuckle of your big toe to your baby toe, eventually lowering that heel, finding center. Noticing both heels on the floor now. All right, then we could try bringing our weight back onto our left foot. Bringing your right big toe to the floor. Maybe try narrowing your stance. So maybe try bringing your right big toe to your left ankle. Notice how that feels, how that affects your balance. At any time during this practice, you can bring your arms into a T or overhead or hands on your hips. And then engaging that left leg just like we did before. So instead of leaning into your hip, you're standing nice and tall with a narrower stance. How does that feel? Can you lift your foot off the floor? Can you place the sole of your right foot on your calf muscle or your inner thigh? So feel free to rest the sole of your foot on the inside of your leg, maybe turning your right leg out to the side. Coming into a traditional tree form. Feel free to take a few breaths. If you've found stillness in this balance form, you're welcome to stay. You're also welcome to try coming in and out of tree as you wish. Maybe steadying your gaze, looking at a spot on the wall or on the floor. When you're ready to move on, maybe lowering your right foot to the floor, shifting your weight onto your right foot now, engaging your right side, your right leg, maybe your buttocks muscle, placing your left big toe on the floor, and trying to narrow your stance here. You can experiment with narrowing your stance by bringing your left big toe to your ankle or higher up your leg, to your calf muscle, to your inner thigh. You could try pointing your knee out to the side. Maybe steadying for a few breaths. Maybe lowering your foot and trying another round. Eventually coming back to standing on both feet. Maybe noticing both heels on the floor. Maybe flaring at your toes. And if you wanted to do a few curl downs, we could tuck our chin, curl down, rounding your upper back, moving through your spine all the way down to either touching the floor or anywhere in between your thighs. You can also have your hands on your thighs or on your shins or on the floor, hanging out for a moment at the bottom if you wish. Maybe taking a breath, maybe shaking out your head. Coming up when you're ready, maybe tucking your tailbone, curling up as you wish. Maybe arms overhead or not, your choice. Maybe taking a breath in and then as you exhale, maybe curling down again. And I'll let you finish this round at your own pace. And then maybe another round, curling down again. Feel free to take a breath or two at the bottom. Curling up when you're ready. And then we could try, standing with our feet hip width apart, we could try lifting our heels and staying there for a beat. So steadying your gaze, noticing the balls of your feet as you lift your heels. So notice the weight perhaps in your big toe, in your toes that are flared. And down. You could try that again, lifting your heels, staying for a beat or two. Lowering your heels when you're ready. We could also add to this, lifting your heels, balancing on the balls of your feet. If you feel steady, you could try reaching your arms out in front of you, maybe bending your knees with that heel lift. So heels may be lifted. You could also do this heels on the floor. That's your choice. Coming into a traditional squat form, maybe with your heels lifted, you can straighten out and bend your knees again. So maybe trying a few rounds of squat with your heels lifted or your heels on the floor, your choice. Maybe for another count of 3 and 2 and 1. Lowering your heels if they were lifted. And then maybe you'd like to try another balancing form on one leg, shifting your weight onto your left foot. Maybe instead of turning your knee out to the side, you'd like to lift your knee out in front of you. And then we could try straightening our leg behind us. So if you lifted your right knee up, straightening your right leg behind you as you hinge at your hips and fold forward. So like an airplane. Maybe arms are out in a T overhead. You're welcome to stay in this form for a few breaths. You could also maintain that length from the top of your head to your right toes. You can find that length. If you need a break, you can lower your right big toes to the floor. Right big toes maybe behind you, keeping that straight leg, and then lifting that back leg. So you can come into this form by just lifting your back leg and hinging forward. Maybe breathing into your chest for a deep chest breath. Sighing it out. To finish, if you want to bring your right knee forward again and then lower your foot, you could try moving and lowering your foot while still balancing on your left leg. As you lower your right foot, maybe notice the difference between your feet. How do your feet feel? How do your legs feel? And then we can try the other side. Shifting your weight onto your right foot, maybe engaging that right leg. Maybe feeling some effort there as you lift your left knee up in front of you. Again, arms, your choice. Arms out to the side, overhead, out in front of you. Or maybe hands on your hips. Straightening your left leg behind you. Maintaining that effort on your right side so that you can straighten your left leg behind you. Breathing, nice deep breaths. Maybe noticing that expansion through your chest or rib cage. If you need a break, you can maintain that length through your body as you lower your left big toe behind you. Lifting it off the floor for a second round if you wish. Staying for a few breaths or another count of 3 and 2 and 1. Coming back to standing with your feet hip width apart. Perhaps you'd like to curl down again, tucking your chin, curling down, rolling through your spine to either touch the floor or rest your hands on your shins. You could also hold your elbows and hang out for a moment. And if you're at home practicing on a yoga mat, maybe you'd want to place your palms on the floor and step your feet back into a traditional downward dog. If you're in the office, you can use a chair or a table in front of you so you can hinge and create that 90-degree angle with your body, hinging at your hips, resting your hands on the back of a chair or a table as you lower your chest down towards the floor. If you're in downward dog, feel free to pedal your feet. Feel free to lift and lower your heels. Maybe as you notice your breathing, exhaling and inhaling. Pausing here for a moment. Noticing your body in this form. If you're in downward dog, maybe noticing the ground under your palms, the texture of your yoga mat, maybe pressing into the heel of your index finger on your right side and then your left index finger. So pressing both hands, palms into the floor, noticing the support of the floor as you lift your hips up and back. And at any time, feel free to take a break if you want to lower your knees to the floor to move into a traditional child's form. If you're at the office, you can sit in your chair for a moment. Taking a few breaths. And then we could sit here, so either sitting in your chair or sitting on your heels if you want to lift up. Maybe noticing if you're sitting on your heels that your feet are flat. You may perhaps feel a sensation of a stretch in the tops of your feet. So sitting here for a moment, you're welcome to practice a breath technique with me. So with this breath technique, we're going to be inhaling through both nostrils and exhaling through one nostril at a time. So one round will be 2 breaths, so we can exhale through our left nostril by plugging our right nostril with our right-handed thumb, our right thumb, exhaling. Inhale through both. And then you could either use your middle finger of your right hand or switch with your left hand, pressing into the fleshy bit of your nostril on the left side. Exhaling. So that's one round. Inhaling both nostrils. Exhaling through your left. Inhaling through both. Exhaling through your right. Continue at your own pace. Inhaling and exhaling. Maybe notice if you can lengthen your exhalation. So maybe try to lengthen your exhalation. You can also meter your breathing in to a count of 3, holding and then exhaling to one side, a count of 6. Maybe inhaling a count of 3, reaching 3 at the tip of your inhalation, exhaling 6, alternating sides as you exhale, closing one nostril, exhaling through the opposite. So finishing your round and then maybe one more round. You can always stop the video and do more. When you're done, maybe sitting for a moment in stillness, noticing that you're breathing through both nostrils now. And then if you're at the office and you want to end your practice here, you're welcome to, or maybe do a few last movements that you'd like. If you're at home and you'd like to lie on the floor, you're welcome to lie on your back, finding a comfortable position, settling in, maybe noticing your breath, noticing perhaps the weight of your head on the floor, maybe noticing the touch of the back of your head on the floor, on your yoga mat or your Pilates mat, exercise mat. Noticing your back resting on the floor. So notice what parts of your back you feel touching the floor. Maybe noticing your hips on the floor. Noticing the shape of your legs, meaning how have you organized your legs? Because we could bend up our knees and let our knees float to each side, coming into a butterfly-like form, joining the soles of your feet. So maybe noticing the soles of your feet touching as you bring your feet together and your knees to each side. Maybe feeling some sensation in your hips. Notice what parts of your feet, maybe the outer edges of your feet, are resting on the floor. Notice if your knees are touching the floor or your thighs, maybe not. And lastly, noticing your shoulders, maybe sliding those shoulder blades down your back, letting your arms either lengthen out into a T, or you can have your hands by your sides in a V. Maybe palms up, palms down. Or maybe your hands are on your belly. Feel free to take a few breaths, breathing into your belly. See if you can breathe deeply enough to access your belly without pushing or pulling on your breath. As you rest your body on the floor, maybe noticing the air traveling through your nostrils, both nostrils. Sighing out your breath if you wish. You can end your practice here or sit up when you're ready. Feel free to pause the video if you'd like more time, or if you'd like to do any last movements. Namaste.